That was a rather harrowing and sobering experience. Videotaping isn't allowed inside. I did sneak a few short clips, which I will put in here, obviously, but I wasn't able to do any sort of sustained footage, which I would have liked, but I did get a bit. But mainly, this is a museum for genocide victims. It's housed in a mansion, and it's actually a really nice building. The basement of it is a former KGB and their previous iterations, which I don't know off the top of my head, but they had a prison in the basement during the pre-World War II years. That basement was occupied by the Gestapo, so that was interesting to see. I walked down in it, and I have never been to any sort of place where atrocities have taken place. I've studied the Holocaust for many, many years, but I have never been to an actual site of it. Never been to a concentration camp or anything, although I would really like to go. But the feeling inside that KGB prison when you looked at the chambers and the places where executions took place, it's not really nausea. I mean, it is, but it's heavier than that. It's a definite feeling of sickness, but it's not. I'm really unsure how to describe how it feels. I'm sure it's mainly psychological, just because you know that bad stuff has gone down, but it's still very jarring when you go into it. But Lithuania is kind of a special circumstance. Aside from the Nazi occupation, there was also a Soviet occupation here for many, many years. Didn't end until the Union fell in 91. But the pre-war years were pretty bad. They rounded up all the elites and exiled them from the country and sent them to labor camps and whatnot. And I'm going to try to film myself here. It's probably not going to work, but whatever, you can deal. But yeah, so that was interesting. And then after the war, the Soviets occupied the country again, and the KGB was very into it, making sure that everyone lived by Soviet ideals, and the Communist Party was the only party in power and allowed to exist, and just any type of dissidence was punished, and many people were killed, and it's just a very bad time in the modern history of Lithuania. So I'm very happy that I decided to come here and that I found out that it was here. It was a very sobering experience, and I hope to visit more locations like this. Just the depth of cruelty that humans can place on other humans still just baffles me. I don't understand how anyone can be in a mindset to think that that's in any way okay, but I don't know. I guess it just has to do with conditioning, but I will never understand it. I don't think. My brain just isn't able to work that way, and I'm sure that were my circumstances different, it probably could. I hope not, but I'm sure all the people that participated didn't think it could either. So yeah, swing this back around now and see if I can actually, yeah, that's the doorway and the main facade. But yeah, I'm gonna splice together all the mini clips I took of the interior and see what I can do. It's not going to do justice to the building. Please come if you are ever in Lithuania and come to Vilnius. It's a beautifully run museum. The staff is incredible. And yeah, Very highly recommended. Came to the Museum of Genocide Victims in Vilnius. Taping isn't allowed, so I'm trying to be quiet, but yeah, there are quite a few artifacts. And there's a museum in the basement, KGB prison, that I'm gonna go look at. So, trying to be sneaky. Currently standing in a room of a former KGB prison. This is a room dedicated to the Nazi occupation. Not entirely sure what this is. I'm assuming solitary confinement or something. There's a sloping floor, so torture chamber of some sort, maybe. I don't know what comes in off the main hall. And then there's something over here, if I can get around. Oh, there's on that side. Just another cell like this. I don't know what it is, but it's really, really interesting. Sorry, my cane's just making noise, but this is fascinating and dark, and I wish I could get better, more sustained footage, but I just can't. Prison library, document room, I'm not positive, but yeah, something you don't expect to find in a KGB prison. This is the execution chamber. These were slides where bodies were slid out and water was poured down after the executions were carried out. It was just in this room against that wall over there. So, yeah. Probably can't see this because the light's really low, but this cell is just like not even the size of a closet. There's a tiny bench. And yeah, I don't even want to think about what people were waiting for in here.